Hey guys, so this is a DBX, Aston Martin's first SUV. And it's new for a lot of different reasons. Obviously it's an SUV, their first one, their first four-wheel drive car. It's not their first four-door, there's a repeat for that. It's not their first hatchback, you have the Vanquish Zagato shooting brake for that. But it is an Aston Martin for a new generation. They want to expand out into, I guess, SUV crossover stuff, which is commendable, but also we've got to figure out if this is deserving to stand on the same level as all the great Aston Martins. So let's figure it out. First of all, this isn't going to be a typical review. We only had a DBX for a day and that really isn't enough time to figure out how this is to live with. But it is enough time for it to really surprise, in a good way, or disappoint me. Starting with the exterior, this is definitely the best looking of the new breed of SUVs from sports/performance car companies. It's got a great shape, elegant lines. The front end is very Aston with that huge frowning catfish grille, a long sculpted and vented bonnet, and even the wheels look like they could work on a DB11. But then, besides the front end, the familiarity goes away. So when you get to the side, that it becomes slightly less classic Aston Martin. You have this, I don't know what you call this side strake over here. Classic Aston Martin so far. This nice profile, this kind of like push hinge doors, like this. Okay, very Aston Martin so far. Then you realize, oh wait, the roof just keeps going and going and going, and it's kind of high up at the ground. So then you realize, okay, not your usual Aston Martin. But I gotta say, it's a really nice looking car, even from the side. From the back, I think it's even better because you don't really see this as an SUV. It could be a very sporty, sexy hatchback. I like the way, very Aston Martin Vantage, you have this single light bar that runs across all the way of the rear end. And the way the rear windscreen kind of rakes down and kind of like comes up this way, or this ducktail spoiler, very nice. Exhaust comes out here, which is unconventional. You don't get quad exhaust either. But they do kind of match the car because it's very symmetrical. So guys, now that we're inside the Aston Martin DBX, the first thing that strikes you is it's a nice interior. Everything's leather, but in this case, the owner or whoever spec'd it up ordered the very, 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 very blue option. So everything literally is blue. Well, except the headliner, I guess. But yeah, everything that's leather is blue. And okay, it's a nice blue, not my cup of tea that I would order, but in terms of the blues that was possible, this is a nicer blue. It's a very premium interior though, I gotta say, because it's laid out very modern-like. It's not like Aston Martins could feel or did feel sort of dated, but this is very, very modern. You have screens ahead of you, like you have this huge screen ahead of you here, ahead of you here. The only thing I don't quite like is the fact that the gear shift selectors are on top here. So they have the engine start button up here, P, R, N, and D. I don't know why they just couldn't have like a normal gear stick. Okay, but for Aston Martin, props to them because they actually made this car. They had no basis to build this DBX. So they actually made a platform, an architecture from scratch. Every other baller SUV out there, like, I don't know, a Lamborghini Urus, Porsche Cayenne, Audi Q8, Bentley Bentayga, can all trace their lineage to just one car, which is the Volkswagen Touareg. And they're all kind of like under the skin, the same exact thing. In this case, Aston Martin made a bespoke architecture, and this is the result. So a lot of effort, a lot of expense. They didn't actually have zero help because Daimler owns, I don't know, like 15%. Some part of Aston Martin is owned by Daimler, and Daimler is Mercedes-Benz. And so this powertrain up front here is Mercedes-AMG. So you have the M177 bi-turbo 4-liter V8, which you would get in the AMG GT, all the E63, C63, SL63, all that kind of stuff. The 4-liter V8 is the same one over here, but it isn't the first Aston Martin to feature that engine. You have that in the DB11, the Vantage, 550 horsepower and 700 newton meters of torque. I think 0 to 100 in less than 4 seconds, and it can go off-road if you want. Of course, you get back seats, and actually I'm surprised by how much space you do have in the back seats. I think it's quite a lot of leg room back here. And with this really big panoramic roof, this glass roof, you've got a lot of light coming in as well. And yes, it's very blue, but it's a very plush interior, as you'd expect. You pay this kind of money, you pay, the selling price is 858,000 ringgit, but that's excluding duties and taxes. So once you're all done, you might be looking at over 1 million ringgit easily. So it is a plush interior, it is worthy of that price. And as for Aston Martin's first attempt at an SUV, I think it's quite accomplished. You get air conditioning vents here, Volvo style, and here, every other car maker style. But you don't care about the Aston Martins, even if it's a DBX, you don't really care about the back seats. What you want to know is how it drives. It's weird having this noise and kind of like seeing this badge, hearing that noise, but being this high up off the ground. You feel like you're high off the ground. But when you walk alongside this thing, it doesn't seem like it's really off the ground much. Last week I was driving a Hilux. That really felt off the ground. I'm getting the same sort of, bird's eye view, eagle's nest kind of sensation here too. This engine, this powertrain, all-wheel drive, come on, it's gotta be quick, right? Traction's gonna be mega, off the line, ooh. Oh yeah. That is very fast, off the line, obviously. How's the corner though? Ooh, damn, this engine's so responsive. There's no lag whatsoever. You get the 9G Tronic. I don't know what they call it in Aston Martin, but in other Mercedes-Benzes, they call it the 9G Tronic, so you have 9 forward ratios. It's a familiar transmission, a familiar auto, not known for being particularly fast. This is not a track machine, this is not a super serious road racer, this is an SUV, so you don't really have to have the quickest shifts. Right. This indicator stock as well does feel Mercedes-Benz, probably is. This does have air suspension, guys, so you can lower it, and you know what, when you do lower this thing, it does look like a slightly high riding wagon. I approve. Oh yeah. Yeah, the gear shifts, they're fast. They're not razor sharp though, which is fine. I think for most people driving this, they don't really care about that. Wow, that is sharp. The nose is really, really sharp. And weirdly enough, it is communicative. You have an idea of what the wheels are doing and where all the power is going. It builds confidence. It does look good. It does look good. It's got the badge, it's got the power, it's got the noise if you put it in the right exhaust mode. I'm actually in the quiet mode right now, which is fine by me. So you have the noise, you have the badge, you have the look generally, but the thing is, with an SUV, you see things in profile. So when you see a kind of car that looks like an SUV with the kind of profile, like the kind of two-box design as a SUV, you don't draw that much wow factor. Okay, you park this alongside an Aston Martin Vantage, a DB11, a DBS, even an older Vanquish, and you have everyone be drawn way more and way more easily to those coupes and not this SUV. I think it is the best looking of all the baller SUVs. The Urus, to my mind, looks a little bit, I don't know. It doesn't have that wow factor for me, the Urus. And same goes for the Bentayga. The Bentayga is just a Bentley that's got like an ugly face and it's too high off the ground. The Q8 actually looks the best. So would I pick the Audi Q8 over this thing? I'm sure they drive the same way. They have the same engines. Also a 4-liter bi-turbo V8, but just not made by AMG. So among all its peers, I think this definitely looks the best. It probably drives the best because it's not based on a Touareg. It's an AMG developed to be an Aston Martin. That's pretty kick-ass. So, what have we established? We established that this is a really fun SUV to drive. Take the word SUV out of the equation, and this is a very fun 4-door to drive. Engine is phenomenal. We already know this engine is just unbelievably good. It does kind of fit because, you know, you have Mercedes AMGs that are luxury oriented with this same engine. It's refined, it can be quiet when you want it to. On the highway, it settles into a nice groove, a nice cruise. So I guess all those attributes with this powertrain would carry over into the DBX. It's comfortable, it works as an SUV, there's plenty of space, plenty of light, and you do have that X factor, that badge factor when you pull up in an Aston Martin over pulling up in, let's say, an Audi or a Porsche Cayenne, or even an Urus. If you kind of view the Urus in a cynical way like I do, this is sort of the antidote to that, because it's not shouty, it's classy. It's classy like an Aston Martin should be. Do I agree that Aston Martin should have made an SUV? I have no idea, but they have, and it's good.